The big day finally arrives, the Olympia. The best bikini, fitness, figure, and bodybuilding competitors in the world are gathered here in Las Vegas, Nevada to decide who will be their champions. For many months preceding this day, these athletes have been preparing their bodies and their minds for a few precious moments on stage. All of the biggest and best-known names in bodybuilding are here. Many of the fans and reporters writing and blogging about the show online called the 2009 Olympia one of the most hard-fought, exciting, and competitive shows they'd ever seen. As expected, Kai takes the stage for his posing routine with his usual flair. No need for me to build suspense at this point, because if you are watching this documentary, I can assume that you are a fan of bodybuilding. And if you are a fan of bodybuilding, you already know that Kai placed 4th at the Olympia. The forums were buzzing with congratulations and excitement. It was only his first time at the Olympia, and he was already in the top 5, higher than a few bodybuilders who had more experience on this stage. And then came the apology video.
Truly, at the end of the day, when the dust settles and the smoke clears, if you were to ask a person honestly, hey, did you do this for that placing? 4th. The answer that resonates loudest, at least in my heart right now, is no.
This didn't make any sense to me, and so I did some research to find the placings of past Olympia competitors on their first outings. What I found shocked me. Victor Martinez, first time at the Olympia, 5th place. Jay Cutler, first time at the Olympia, 14th place. Dexter Jackson, first 3 times at the Olympia, 9th place, 9th place, and 8th place. Ronnie Coleman's first 4 times at the Olympia, 15th place, 11th place, 6th place, and 9th place. As far as I could see, top 5 was a reason to celebrate. Yet both Kai and Oscar were I needed to understand this. I needed to know what was going through Kai's mind as the placings were announced.
I'm focused on the end result. The end result, I'm going to shake Joe Weider's hand. I'm here with, I imagined the sand out every night before I went to bed. I'm sitting there holding the sand out. I know how much it weighs. I felt its coldness against my skin. I've done all the imagery work. This is the first thing I thought about when I got up in the morning. The last thing I thought about before I went to bed at night. I've kept my journals. I've stayed focused. I've gone to bed hungry. I've gotten up and did cardio the first thing in the morning. I've eaten nothing after doing cardio before going to bed at night. My body fat levels are excessively low.
And in 4th place, you look at somebody else.
Kai Greene.
I say your name and, you haven't seen, Branch walk up or Dexter or Jay yet, but they just said your name and they want to hand you something and, that's all a blur at that point. Like, what? I don't, at that point you stop clapping, you're in shock.
Well, Branch, they didn't say nothing about Branch. There must be a mistake.
Not working out quite the way, because why is Dexter still standing over there? And why is Brent, are you kidding me? And why is Jay still standing there? And how the hell is Branch still, they want to hand me, something's not right. It's not, okay, Phil Heath, I'm sorry for him, but somebody got to place fifth.
And it's not anything against the judges. It's not to say the judges were wrong. It's not anything against Jay Cutler. As much as it is, my God, this is not what I was working for.
You have mixed feelings. You have people think that, fourth place is a great debut. Olympia is fantastic. For us, we have high standards. We didn't train and make so many sacrifices for fourth. We went to win. So fourth, in some aspects, is disappointing for everything we did.
That's supposed to be, why are they handing, they're handing me. I'm in shock. Stay together, keep it together. But Branch is still standing over there next to Dexter. Some woman comes up to you and hands you you smile and I'm gracious about it. I'm just waiting for what I ordered. This is not what I ordered. There's got to be a mistake. There's a mistake. As this internal monologue is playing, the people are still smiling, and you smile too, and you have to smile because, the tears are welling up in your eyes, and you can't. If you don't smile, then you might go to another extreme, and you can't go to another extreme because you represent a whole other idea. You're a professional bodybuilder. You quickly can recall what happens when Silvio Samuel in the 2009 Arnold Classic.
I sympathize with everybody I've ever seen get off that stage, that had demonstrated a gesture or two that was thought to be suspect when they got it. Oh, wow. Did you see Silvio at the Arnold 2009? Oh, that wasn't sportsmanlike. What's this mean?
Fifth place to Silvio Samuel.
What's this mean? Man, in that moment, I can tell you what the that meant. And you're lucky that's all he did.
And if you'd have told me that these efforts would not be met with the end result, then why the is Dexter still standing there? Joe Weider's already come out, and at this point, he's now, shaking hands with Jay Cutler. There's been an explosion or something, and confetti or some shit, and all is, this is not you. At this point, you could really care less when they're like telling and who's coming in second and who's coming in third. And you're like, why did they even have me on stage here? Because I really want to just fall apart. You say these men are better men than you? Did they train harder than you? They're smarter than you? No, I can't think of myself as a competitor. I'm a creator. Or maybe the package that I created wasn't good enough. What went wrong? And then you realize, in order to think like that, you have to totally forsake everything that you learned while in this camp. These lessons that are the fundamental principles that all of your past success stands on. You can't question it, but you have to question it. It's a dialogue now because it's not a monologue, because you're questioning and answering in your mind. You got this whole duality thing going back and forth.
My knees feel like they're about to buckle. It takes everything to give an interview after that.
You're led off the stage into a darker place, as you're walking down the steps, and you almost can mistake that for a place of refuge and peace. Just as the tears begin to fall, and there's people with cameras.
You came out, you had an aura of confidence about you. It seemed they worked you, and they moved you around a lot. Was this one of the more strategic plays by the judges, or what do you think was happening with you when they called you out with those guys?
You walk off the stage, you're expecting to have that moment to yourself. Nope, camera in your face. So are you happy with your placing? What are you, asking me a loaded question? Do you want to see me play myself right now so that they can vilify me on web blogs later?
In that moment, you hate them and the camera, and you hate the light that won't allow you to hide in this moment and be vulnerable. But this is what you asked for. You're the pro athlete in the spotlight. You're at the Olympia. And just as that same camera and spotlight would be there when you triumph, it's also there when you have a moment like this.
But there was more here than just simple disappointment. Faced with their first time at the most prestigious bodybuilding competition in the world, Kai and Oscar let the whispers of well-meaning insiders cause them to change their game plan.
Everywhere he gets exposed, any official or fan, or Kai, make sure you don't get too big, don't get too big, keep the waist down, you know, look at the Olympia. If you're trying to attain something, you look at the current standard. The current standard of Mr. Olympia was Dexter Jackson. That is what they're saying, not Marcus Rule. So you're saying this guy 220 some pounds is Mr. Olympia. You know, and now every buzz, every magazine cover, you have a lot of people claiming Phil Heath as the successor.
Oscar took this advice to heart and formulated a strategy specifically designed to beat Dexter and Phil.
He had to get him actually smaller. He had to sacrifice muscle tissue. So by the time we got to the day of the show, he was 258, 260. He looked, oh my God, I wish I could have taken him from right there and put him on the stage. But because I had started the depletion and cut it, watered out, his body kept dropping weight. So in the morning, even though he was 258, by the time he stepped on stage, he was 250. That's already 5 or 6 pounds less than the Arnold. And when Kai's muscles get smaller, they look flat.
This explains what I had been reading on the forums about Kai at the Arnold versus Kai at the Olympia. When compared side by side, the differences were noticeable.
That's why people were saying he didn't pop out. As soon as he went on stage, he didn't have that freaky or wow factor. And when you have a muscle that flattens out, the striations don't show as deep. So you think maybe he's holding water, maybe he's soft. But I can tell you, I can see him up close, he wasn't soft at all. He tried to play the game of Dexter Jackson and Phil Heath by coming in smaller and trying to beat them at their game. Kai is not meant to be a small little body, he's got bigger joints. He looks better at 265, 270 rip. Even though, I mean, 4th place, it's great. But in order for Kai to be dominant and to know, Kai has to be at his best. He's got to follow his own game plan.
So was the 7 weeks in the desert really necessary? Or was it overkill?
In a way, you know, it was just no escape, you know, constant 24/7. You know, we were under the belief that to prepare for this Olympia, we have to go and do way more and above and beyond what everybody else was doing. And sometimes, you know, more is not always better.
Everything that you did do, you know, yields some kind of lesson to be learned. And it's the lessons learned that, you know, you're going to build future success on. So no, I don't think it was too extreme. I think it was a stepping stone towards future success.
But, you know, what we did is try to play their game and see if we could beat them at their game. And what happened was, yeah, we beat Heath and we almost beat Dexter, but Jay came in big and massive. Branch came in big, ripping massive. And because they did what they had to do at their best. So in a way, we felt we gave the Olympia away to Jay. He's holding it for us for 1 year. We'll get it back to him next year.